They left you, and now they're back. But before you let them in again, stop. Because this moment isn't just about them. It's about you, your healing, your worth. In this video, we're diving deep into the one mistake most people make when someone returns after hurting them, and how that one choice can destroy your self-respect, your peace, and your power. You'll learn why they really came back, what they're secretly testing, and how you should respond to take back control, not just of the relationship, but of your life. So if you've ever been in that situation, or you're going through it right now, don't skip this. It might just save you from making the biggest emotional mistake of your life. Let's begin. First, guidelines. They'll come back. Because you're no longer the same. When someone walks away from your life, especially when they do it thinking you'll be waiting for them, they rarely expect to return and find a different version of you. Most people walk away with the assumption that your door will always remain open, that your emotions are frozen in time, still longing, still aching, still stuck on them. But what they don't realize is that pain has a way of evolving people. Silence, solitude, and heartbreak have a secret power. They don't just break you, they build you. At first, yes, you feel the storm inside. You question yourself, what went wrong, what you could have done differently, and why they didn't choose you. You might even stare at your phone, waiting for their name to pop up, for some kind of explanation. That's normal. That's human. But slowly, you start realizing that waiting for them is only delaying your healing. You begin to understand that the person you loved isn't the person who's coming back. They're just a memory now. And you are no longer the same. This transformation isn't loud. You don't announce it with dramatic Instagram posts or try to show the world how happy you are. Number. The real change happens in silence. You stop reacting emotionally. You begin to prioritize your peace. You start eating better, sleeping better, walking with your head a little higher. You start reconnecting with your purpose. You find joy in your solitude. And without even realizing it, you become someone stronger, someone wiser, someone they can no longer manipulate. When they come back, and yes, they often do, they expect to find the version of you who still hurts. They expect the same old patterns. But instead, they're met with emotional distance, calm eyes, polite but detached responses. They can feel it. You've outgrown them. You don't hate them. You're just not holding space for someone who couldn't hold your heart. And that shift? That's what hits them hard. Because while they were busy playing games, you were busy growing. While they explored options, you built standards. While they took time to find themselves, you found your worth. Now, your presence feels unfamiliar to them. Not because you changed out of bitterness, but because you evolved through love, for yourself. And that is exactly why they come back. Not because they miss who you were, but because they finally see who you've become. But by then, it's too late. Second, guidelines. Don't act like nothing happened. Because it did. Imagine this. Someone ghosted you, lied to you, or walked out when you needed them the most. Now, out of nowhere, they're back. They smile, they text, "Hey." They try to slip back into your life as if the damage they caused never existed. And here's the biggest trap: pretending like nothing happened just to keep the peace or avoid confrontation. But here's the truth. Silence doesn't erase betrayal. Avoiding the conversation doesn't heal your wounds. And ignoring what they did won't make your pain go away. It only buries it deeper. When you welcome someone back without acknowledging the hurt they caused, You're not just forgiving them. You're telling them that their actions had no consequences. You're training them to hurt you again. Acting like nothing happened might feel easier at the moment, especially if you still love them or miss their presence. But it's not strength, it's fear. Fear of confrontation, fear of losing them again, fear of being alone. And when fear drives your decisions, you lose your power. Instead, hold space for the truth. Don't fake smiles or forced peace. If they come back and you truly want to reconnect, then there must be a conversation. A real one. One where you express your pain, not to punish them, but to honor your feelings. You're not being dramatic. You're being honest. And honesty is the foundation of every strong relationship. It's also important to observe whether they are willing to take accountability or just want a shortcut back to comfort. Are they genuinely sorry, or are they just lonely? Do they talk about what happened? Or do they brush it under the rug expecting you to play along? If they avoid accountability, that's a red flag. If they deflect blame or say, let's just move on, they're not ready. They're seeking convenience, not connection. A person who values you will not only apologize, they'll want to make it right. They won't be afraid to talk about the hard stuff. Remember, forgiveness is powerful, but forgetting without healing is dangerous. You owe it to yourself to confront the truth. You deserve relationships where your emotions aren't invalidated. You deserve peace, but not peace built on pretense. Real peace comes when everything is acknowledged, respected, and resolved, not ignored. So the next time they come back and expect everything to feel like the good old days, take a breath. Then say this with calm confidence. We can talk, but we can't pretend nothing happened. Because if you do, if you sweep it under the rug, you're setting yourself up for the same heartbreak all over again. Third, guidelines. Don't let them bypass accountability. Make them own their actions. When someone walks away from your life after hurting you and then suddenly wants to return, it can be tempting to welcome them back without question, especially if you still have feelings. But here's the trap. Most people who come back don't want to face the full weight of what they did. They want comfort without consequences. They want access to your heart again without having to earn it. But if you let them bypass accountability, you're teaching them that they can hurt you and still have a place in your life. Think about it. Did they ever truly acknowledge the pain they caused you? Did they take responsibility without making excuses like, I was going through a lot, or you were distant too? True accountability doesn't sound like justification. It sounds like, I know I hurt you, and I was wrong. That's the bare minimum before trust can even begin to rebuild. And it's not just about hearing an apology, it's about observing changed behavior. You have every right to ask questions. You deserve to understand why they left, what they've learned, and what makes them think they're ready now. If they get defensive or dismissive when you bring these things up, that's a red flag. Real growth welcomes hard conversations. Many people fear bringing up past hurts because they don't want to ruin the moment or seem unforgiving. But ignoring what broke you is what actually ruins the future. Forgiveness without understanding becomes an open door to repeated heartbreak. You need to see that they not only regret what happened, but they've reflected deeply and taken steps to grow from it. Holding someone accountable doesn't mean you're bitter. It means you value yourself. It means you're not going to pretend everything's fine just because they've come back with a smile. If they truly care, they'll stay through the discomfort of accountability. If they walk away when you ask for clarity, then they never really intended to repair things. They just wanted convenience. So next time someone tries to re-enter your life, don't just ask yourself, do I miss them? Ask, do they understand the impact of their actions? If the answer is no, then letting them back in would be a betrayal of yourself. Protect your peace. Because real love doesn't just return, it takes responsibility. Fourth guidelines, shift the power from desperation to self-worth. There's something magnetic about a person who no longer chases approval. When someone hurts you and leaves, maybe they ghosted you, betrayed your trust, or slowly faded away, it's natural to feel rejected. That rejection often pushes people into desperation. You might overthink every little thing you did, blame yourself for their actions, or even start believing that if you change yourself enough, maybe they'll come back. But here's the truth. Desperation pushes them further away. Self-worth draws them back in. This is where the real power shift happens. The moment you stop asking, why did they leave me? And start asking, why would I want someone who could leave me like that? That's when everything changes. You no longer see their silence as something you need to break. You see it as space you're choosing to protect. And that shift is powerful. When you stop responding emotionally and start responding intentionally, you create a new energy around you. It's calm, grounded, and deeply attractive. You're not trying to prove your value anymore. They either see it, or they don't deserve access to it. This isn't about playing games or pretending not to care. It's about genuinely knowing that your peace is worth more than temporary attention. And here's the twist. They feel it. Even if you haven't blocked them. Even if you haven't said a word. That energy speaks. When they reach out and you're no longer emotionally reactive, when your tone is neutral, your words are minimal, and your presence feels distant, they'll feel that shift in power. Suddenly, they're the one wondering what changed, why you're not so available, why your eyes don't light up like they used to when their name appeared on your phone. And in that moment, you're no longer the one waiting to be chosen. You've already chosen yourself. You see, people often return not because they truly want to repair things, but because they miss the version of you who used to overextend, overgive, and overlove. When that version is gone, they feel the loss, not just of you, but of the emotional supply they once took for granted. And they'll either rise to meet your new standard or walk away when they realize they can't manipulate their way back in. So don't beg, don't chase, don't lower your worth to keep someone who didn't value it in the first place. Step into your power. Reconnect with your peace. Because when you start loving yourself the way you once loved them, everything begins to shift in your favor. Fifth guidelines. Become the mystery. They can't figure out. One of the most powerful moves you can make after someone hurts you or walks away is becoming unpredictable. Not in a manipulative or erratic way, but in a way that makes them realize they no longer know you. And that creates mystery. When someone thinks they've figured you out, they lose curiosity. They lose the hunger to understand, to pursue, to win you back. But when you grow in silence, change your energy, and stop giving them access to your inner world, you become the mystery they can't shake off. When you were hurt, maybe you used to explain yourself too much. Maybe you kept reaching out, trying to be understood, trying to get closure. But now, you say less. You show less. You let your absence speak volumes. That silence isn't just the lack of communication. It's the presence of transformation. Every day you grow a little more, heal a little deeper, and glow a little brighter, quietly, without announcing it to the world, and especially not to them. They may watch your stories, check your profile, ask mutual friends about you, or wonder why you're suddenly not available like you once were. But the beauty is, they no longer have direct access to you. That's what drives people crazy, not your silence alone, but the fact that they no longer know what you're thinking or feeling. You're not posting sad quotes. You're not chasing. You're not reacting. You've become unpredictable. And in this digital world where people are used to overexposure, mystery is rare. Mystery makes people think. And the more they think, the more they miss. The more they miss, the more they question whether leaving you was a mistake. You also stop giving them the emotional blueprint to navigate you. They don't know what you'll say if they message you. They don't know if you'll be warm, cold, polite, or uninterested. And that uncertainty? It's powerful. It forces them to reflect on what they lost and whether or not they ever truly knew who you were in the first place. Remember, mystery doesn't mean you disappear completely. It means you stop being predictable. It means you stop being the one who always initiates, always forgives, always explains. You're not cruel. You're just not easy anymore. You've evolved. And if they want access to the new version of you, they're going to have to earn it, step by step. So, don't let your emotions drive you into exposure. Don't try to prove your worth by being louder. Let your mystery become your message. When they don't know what you're up to, when they can't read your heart anymore, they'll begin to crave what they once overlooked. Sixth and final guidelines. Elevate your standards, not your reactions. After someone walks away, betrays your trust, or breaks your heart, the natural response for most people is emotional reaction. Anger, sadness, confusion, begging for clarity. But the truth is, the most powerful thing you can do isn't to react emotionally. It's to elevate silently. Not your voice, not your tears, but your standards. This is the moment where you stop proving yourself to someone who failed to appreciate you. You stop chasing, stop asking why, and start showing, through your actions, that you are no longer available at the same emotional price. You're not the same person they walked away from. You've upgraded, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. When you elevate your standards, you're telling the world, and them, that your worth is no longer negotiable. You're not entertaining the same chaos. You're not tolerating the same patterns. You're not going back to the same broken table, hoping for a better meal. You know what you bring to the table, and you're no longer afraid to eat alone until someone comes along who sees your value without needing to be reminded of it. This shift isn't loud. You don't announce it. You live it. You start choosing peace over panic, growth over gossip, depth over attention. You no longer answer texts out of loneliness. You no longer break your boundaries to keep temporary people happy. You start investing in yourself, your health, your mindset, your purpose. And the beautiful part? They notice. Oh, they notice. Not through your posts or your stories, but through your absence, through the way you no longer move the way you used to. It stings, because now you're showing them what they lost by not reacting. You're not throwing shade, you're throwing silence. And that silence, combined with your elevation, creates a message so loud it echoes in their mind. This person is no longer where I left them. It's in this stage that people often try to return. They come back with casual texts like, "Hey, just checking in," or "How have you been?" But what they're really checking is whether or not you still have the same standards you had before. Whether you're still emotionally available for their inconsistency. Whether they can still access the parts of you they once took for granted. That's your moment. Not to react emotionally, but to uphold your new boundaries. You don't need to be rude. You just need to be real. You can respond with grace, but you don't lower your standards for familiarity or nostalgia. You know what love is supposed to feel like now. You've tasted growth. You've discovered what it means to love yourself without needing external validation. And that's what they can't manipulate anymore. This doesn't just heal you. It transforms you. Because instead of trying to get back what you lost, you've stepped into something higher. You've created a new version of yourself where your peace, your power, and your purpose lead the way, not your pain. Let them come back and see the new standard. Let them realize that to be in your life now, it's not about just showing up. It's about showing change. So, let's be real. When someone walks away from you, they're not just walking away from your presence. They're walking away from your love, your loyalty, your energy. And when they come back, it's not always because they've changed. Sometimes it's just because they lost access to what made them feel important. But you've grown. You've healed. You've felt the pain, survived the silence, and rebuilt your strength piece by piece. Don't let their return break the very progress you fought so hard to make. This isn't about holding a grudge. It's about protecting your worth. It's about showing the world that not everyone gets a second chance at your heart, especially those who couldn't value it the first time. So if they come back, pause. Think. Choose you. Because walking away was their decision. But allowing them back in, that's your power. Use it wisely. If this message spoke to you, if you've ever had to choose between healing and history, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more deep, real-life wisdom that speaks straight to your heart. Stay grounded. Stay powerful. Stay true to you. See you in the next one.